Are we merely witnessing the ruins of a palace or reading a book etched in stone? A monument filled with symbols and codes still waiting to be deciphered, where every column, every carving, and every stone carries a hidden story. When this place was first built, it was known as Parsa, the city of the people of Pars, or Persia. More than 2,500 years ago, Darius the Great ordered its construction, and it was completed during the reigns of Xerxes and Artaxerxes I. But it was not meant to be a permanent royal residence. It is believed that this place came to life only during special ceremonies and festivals, when the king arrived and representatives of nations and various groups under his rule gathered here for grand events. In Greek writings, the name of the place is recorded as Persepolis, the name that later returned to the Persian language. If you leaf through the pages of history, you'll find countless accounts describing the splendor and beauty of this site. But with the arrival of Alexander the Great in Persia and the fall of Darius III, a dark chapter began. According to the Greek historian Diodorus Siculus, the Greek army held a night of celebration here, and afterwards set the palace and surrounding structures ablaze. The flames were devastating, consuming much of this magnificent place. Over time, this place was forgotten to the point that local people lost memory of its glorious past. Yet, the majesty of the ruins created a new image, and with it, a new name. Takhte Jamshid, the throne of Jamshid. Jamshid, the mythical king, is known as the most radiant ruler of ancient Persia. He was the one who built Varijamkar to protect his people. It is the house of the Aryans, a refuge for the best and most virtuous beings. According to legend, when the world ends and life on earth perishes, residents of Varijamkar will emerge from their hidden land to renew the world once more. But the part of this story connected to today's video is Jamshid's mastery over all material and spiritual beings. For instance, his flying throne, lifted by the power of spirits called Div. Thus, the local people, unaware of Persepolis' connection to the Achaemenids, believed such grand ruins could not have been built by ordinary humans. They attributed it to Jamshid, the only being with enough supernatural power to create such a wonder, a belief that hints we stand before a gateway between history and myth. In this book by Ali Sami, you can read more about this mysterious site. But if you don't have the time, stay with us. In this and the next few videos, we'll explore the symbols carved into Persepolis, signs that might bring us closer to understanding the beliefs of Persian ancestors. One of the most captivating symbols you'll encounter in Persepolis is this one, a figure that, backed by the Zoroastrian faith, became one of the most recognizable icons of ancient Persia. A winged figure rising from within an eternal circle, one hand raised toward the heavens, the other holding a ring. It represents Khvarenah, or Fareh, meaning the divine glory, the celestial force that links the king to the heavens. Possessing it was a prerequisite for kingship in Persian mythology. Even Jamshid, who ruled over the entire world, lost his legitimacy the moment he lost the Fareh. In this Achaemenid royal structures, this symbol likely referred to the heavenly force protecting the king. During ceremonial occasions, when the king sat upon his throne, the Faravahar, like a silent guardian, reminded all of the divine protection over this representative of God. In some interpretations, The image also represents the immortal soul of humankind, with Faravahar symbolizing the divine spark or spiritual essence within. Its three-part wings recall the eternal Zoroastrian principles: good thoughts, good words, good deeds, not just moral teachings, but the very pillars of Persian cosmology. If a person upholds these three, they remain aligned with the light in the eternal struggle between light and darkness. The central circle signifies eternity, the endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth, and the human being at its center, standing between beginning and end. It may have also reminded Achaemenid kings that their reign was not merely the rule of one generation, but a link in the eternal chain connecting heaven and earth. The ring held in the Faravahar's hand carries many interpretations. Some say it represents a covenant, an oath between king and people, or between humanity and the divine, reminding the ruler to guard truth. Others see it as the solar ring, the eternal return of light in its cosmic battle against darkness. Thus, when representatives of various nations gathered in Persepolis for royal ceremonies, this was not simply a religious emblem before them, but a sign declaring the Achaemenid king is chosen by the heavens, and the palace itself symbolized not just the empire's might, but a reflection of cosmic order governed by celestial forces. A winged sun disk, enclosing a human figure, nearly 500 years before the Achaemenids, appears in Assyrian art as the emblem of Ashur, the supreme god of that civilization. As explained in Henri Frankfurt's The Art of Mesopotamia, the symbol usually appeared above the Assyrian king's head, signifying divine protection and legitimacy. However, the Assyrian figure holds a bow and arrow, while the Persian symbol points skyward and holds a ring, a difference revealing two distinct worldviews, one exalting military power and readiness for battle, the other spiritual elevation and divine harmony. Ashur was a personal, national god, portrayed as a warrior deity, whereas the Persian symbol goes beyond the notion of a singular god, representing Khvarenah, or divine glory, and the celestial soul of humanity. Its meaning is spiritual rather than martial. You can find more about the belief in Fravashi, the prototype of Faravahar, in this book. In Zoroastrian tradition, Fravashi refers to the eternal divine soul of a person, the light each carries before birth and after death. It acts as a guardian and guide of the spirit. A divine version of this light was essential for kingship, the force that made one a chosen ruler under Ahura Mazda's protection. And if a king turned to falsehood or injustice, this divine light would abandon him. According to Boyce, the Faravahar's raised hand points to the divine realm, while the ring, in the other hand, symbolizes the covenant between the king and Ahura Mazda. The varied interpretations of this symbol have led to debates about which version is older. Although the Assyrian emblem predates the Achaemenid version, the Persian concept of Fravashi is much older than Ashur. Yet, if we consider the winged sun disk alone, its earliest forms go back to the Hittite, Phoenician, and Egyptian civilizations, far earlier than either Persia or Assyria. The oldest examples, around 5,000 years old, come from Egypt, where it represented Ra, the sun god, the life-giving protector. It later became the symbol of Horus, often carved above temple gates, marking the threshold as a space under divine protection. About 3,000 years ago, the Hittites adopted the winged sun emblem, found on seals and carvings, sometimes flanked by two lions, a motif also seen at Persepolis. Later, the Phoenicians engraved it on coins and artifacts, spreading it widely through Mediterranean trade. Around the same era, the Assyrians added the human figure within the winged disc, and the Babylonians and Sumerians, contemporaries of the Assyrians, used it to symbolize their sun god. Finally, we reach the Persian version, often interpreted as an evolved form of the winged sun motif adapted into Persian spiritual philosophy. Given the repeated appearance of similar imagery among the Hittites, it's plausible that the Achaemenid designers aimed to create visual representations that reflected the diversity of nations within the empire, allowing each to see their own symbols within this grand architecture. Across all these civilizations, one concept remains constant: the divine king, the ruler as God's representative on earth, using the winged sun to signify divine selection and celestial protection. Introducing the mythical bird Garuda adds another fascinating layer: a half-human, half-bird creature, often depicted with open wings, carrying Vishnu, one of the Hindu deities, on its back. Here, the winged disk transforms into a celestial bird bearing a god, perhaps the same human figure seen in the Persian and Assyrian emblems. Garuda appears in Vedic hymns around the same period as the Avesta's references to Fravashi, a heavenly bird bringing Amrita, the nectar of immortality, from heaven to earth. Though its depictions are slightly later than the Achaemenid symbol, their conceptual parallels are striking. If you are interested in ancient myths, you may already be familiar with the ancient extraterrestrial theory. According to this idea, such images of flying beings might actually depict extraterrestrials who visited Earth in prehistoric times, bringing civilization to humankind. Beings who, due to their advanced technology, appeared to humans as gods, their teachings later forming the roots of many religious beliefs. From Egypt to the Hittites, from Assyria to Iran and India, all tell a single story: a winged circle within which a human figure emerges. Was it merely a political emblem of divine kingship or a cosmic code, traveling for 5,000 years to keep its message alive in human consciousness today? A bridge between us and our ancestors, between earth and sky, a symbol that may yet conceal the secret of immortality.